Hey, this is Leo Moore. I just finished up giving a presentation at this office about how I would scale this coaching program from 2 million a year to 10 million a year. So if you are anyone that sells typically a book a call funnel where you're getting leads, you're putting them through a funnel, and you're basically trying to get them to buy stuff, then this video is going to be super valuable for you. I basically went through every single step in the funnel, exactly how I would find the bottlenecks in the business and exactly how I would solve those bottlenecks. And basically what you're going to see is kind of exactly how I'm thinking about scaling these businesses. Not as much like, do this script or say this thing. It's more looking from a bird's eye view strategically. This is how you get from A to B to C. So I hope you find this valuable. I'll see you at the end of the video. It's basically step-by-step on a whiteboard. So I'm actually pretty excited. I think this is a bit of a banger. But yeah, like I said, check it out. Watch till the end, should be pretty good. And yeah, if it sucks, let me know. If it's good, I don't know, drop a comment or something. I don't know what the algo boys are saying to say these days, but yeah, should be good. Ciao.
Boys.
Good?
Yeah.
All right. So you have leads. What do you have next? You have call booked. You have showed. You have closed. You guys do one call close?
Yeah, generally.
Okay.
99% of the time, yes.
Yeah, that's fine. Well, it's going to be one call in follow up. And then you have upselled. So what you want to do is, you have to figure out like how many leads do you normally get per month? Do you know roughly? Like DM conversations? Because I'd consider a lead someone that's opted in for more information.
Is it 10 or 8?
No, that's free course sign-ups. We'd get about 10 a week. A month leads, if I had to guess, we'd be getting, so yeah, what do you classify as a lead?
Well, like a free course is definitely like,
That's
definitely a hot
yeah,
lead.
Yeah. Someone who reaches out into our DMs, we probably get, I'd say we'd be getting 2 or 3 at least a day. So you're getting sort of 15 a week, 60 a month there.
Call it 60. Is that like total or?
So that's 60 just through Insta. You're probably getting, and then paid ads. I mean, they're creating free course sign-ups. So we're probably getting, I'd say at least 500 leads a month.
And let's just go 400.
Yeah.
We'll go 400. And then how many calls you said you booked? 100 a month? That seems high.
No, definitely not 100 a month. It'd be probably closer to, there'd be, I'd say 3 average a day, 5 days a week, 6 days a week, 20, 100.
100 calls?
Yeah, maybe 75.
So where do they come from? So they're not...
Free course sign-ups.
Are they leads?
Yeah.
But this is like all time.
So
So not everyone that opts in books a call straight away. So you just have a huge pipeline of people that have taken a free course over time. Isn't it? Yeah. So you got 100 calls booked. That's pretty. If you can
this 400 is the last month and a half. Yeah, we've ramped it up.
So you've got probably like a big email list, don't you?
Huge, 9,000, 9,500.
So
not huge, but like
9K.
It's decent, yeah.
Email. So that's significant enough that you can do those ones, because they're not necessarily leads or opt-ins per month, but they definitely lead to calls.
Yeah.
So then of your calls, do you track show rate?
No, but I'd say 90, it'd be 95%. Most people do book in. Right. Most people show up.
Right, let's just say 90 show up.
Yeah.
And then you close how many a month? 20?
40.
40?
Based off these numbers, 40, yeah.
So 90 show and then 40 close. So that's pretty high. So what's that? 40 out of... So close rate, 40 out of 90 is what, like just below 50?
Just below 50, like 45.
Yeah, 45.
Our own call booked is probably too high now that I see that. But yeah.
We'll just use it as arbitrary numbers because the whole point of the exercise is that.
Sure,
and then how many people do you upsell? So what's your total customers and what's your upsell?
Upsell basically right now.
So total in that program?
There's 1,050 in platinum.
So what's the upsell? 15K?
There's one at 15K, yeah. There's 30 in that.
So 30 out of how many total customers?
1,050.
1,050. 30. Oh, fuck. I'm not good at writing on this thing, Jesus. So 30 over 1,050. What's it?
About 3%. Yeah.
3%. That is actually not that bad, but I bet you're doing nothing here. Or you're probably just doing...
No, we're doing fucking heaps there.
You just like service delivery, or are you doing like selling?
Service delivery or service delivery.
Like, are you just like fulfilling the service, or are you like, as soon as I get here, you're like, no, you're going here?
Fuck no. No.
Yeah,
no.
that's what I mean by doing stuff.
Yeah, no.
Like, that's what I think I was saying to you, but what you can do is, what this arrow turns into eventually, is when Lenny does the onboarding call, so they go here, they show, they close. So this box here is like, all right, what's here? It's going to be an OB call. So OB call. And then you're going to set them on another call. So OB call, goals,
Yeah.
qualified. So what's qualified? Do they have money? Do they have need? Do they trust you? You're going to be able to just feel them out basically, like what's their situation. So OB call, so you're doing this normal shit you're going to do anyway. Figure out their goals.
So we're not doing that OB call right now. So the OB, I think you're getting confused. We do an OB call with the 15K product, not with the 1K product.
But you can do that though.
Yeah, 100%.
But you can.
For sure, yeah.
You don't necessarily, like it's not necessarily something that I would say is absolutely necessary.
To be honest, we sort of almost do a bit of the OB call in the free call. Like we ask them how much money you got, but
so
like that's before they've purchased the first product.
Do you have a CRM? Like you have notes on people and stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
So this OB call, whether it's an actual call is irrelevant. You're going to talk to them in chat.
Yeah.
Goals will be a big one because you'll get people that come in, biz ops style, they're going to be saying, look, like I just want my first like 3 to 5K a month, and I'm like fucking golden. And then you're going to say, all right, if these are their goals, so you have these notes, if these are their goals, the whole rest of the process is like, all right, what do they need to believe to get to here so we can upsell? So if their goals like making 3 to 5K a month, it's like, number one, we need to get them to fucking believe that money's good and they can make more money. Number two, we need to actually make them money so they know what's going on and they need to understand things. And number three, a really big thing that I would imagine that you guys have is people just buy it and then piss off and they like kind of never really engage as much as they could.
There'd be 300 active.
Yeah, exactly. So it's engagement and it's gamifying the process and it's including milestones in the product. It's whatever your CSMs are doing. If they've got their phone number, you can have tracking systems in place. If someone doesn't respond to a message in Discord or Slack or whatever, this is what we just added. If someone doesn't respond to a message in Slack for a certain amount of time, we know. So we can look at a database that says this person's like customer health score is 60%, just below a certain threshold. We get pinged and it says, well, go text them personally, go DM them, call them, whatever. And that's something probably Lenny can do. And the way you justify the cost is not because they've paid for, what is this, $999?
Yeah, just about, yeah.
So it's $999 or $997 or whatever.
Yeah.
So $1K. So you're not really thinking, oh fuck yeah, they paid us $1K. We're giving them OB call. We're giving them all this like customer service stuff. This is all this.
Yeah.
Like this is where you say, it's a part of my sales process for this, and it actually makes you able to deliver a better service because people think, oh, well, you're just fucking trying to upsell me. Well, no, actually, a big part of going here is number one, getting you 15K. So you're not going to be able to get upsold without paying, like making probably at least 5K. Like you're not going there, and you're also getting all this extra service because we have the ability, like operationally, because we know each customer on average. So if you're getting what's 1,000 times 1,000?
1 mil.
So 1 mil. So you've got 1 mil just from these guys plus 30 times 15K is what?
450?
Yeah, 450.
Plus 450, and then what's how many people in like the subscription, tips and stuff?
450.
450K a year worth.
It's about 300K.
So it's the 300K ish. And let's say this is just in the last 12 months ish, like just arbitrarily. So you got about 2 mil. And how many customers do you have all up? So across 1,050 plus whoever's in the subs?
Yeah, probably about 1,300.
And you've got, so 2 mil divided by 1,300 is how much?
That's a tricky one.
Do you need to get the calculator out?
I'm not Asian enough for this.
I'll grab it. So 2 mil divided by 1,300 is about 1,500. So 1,500, this is your LTV. Bigger LTV is better because that means you can afford a higher cost to acquire a customer. So right now you want to have your cost no bigger. So max CAC at that LTV would be 500 because you want it to be more. You want it to be more than 3 to 1.
3 to 1.
So that's the level that I say, all right, if you've got a 3 to 1, it's not great, but I'm not pissed at it. But I would bet that you haven't spent 500 times 1,300 on marketing either.
Absolutely not.
So I bet you wouldn't have spent 650 grand on marketing.
For you.
No way. What do you reckon you spent on marketing?
Maybe over in total,
Yeah.
probably it wouldn't be.
Would have been less than like 100 grand. Yeah, less than. So let's say you spent 50 grand, so 50k. So this is your CAC to LTV. So you got 2 mil to 50k. That's fucking pretty good. So what's that? Do you know?
What's that? That's 40 to 1.
2 mil. What's that divided by?
40, yeah.
It's pretty fucking good. That's pretty fucking good. So if your CAC to LTV or your LTV to CAC is 40 to 1, I would consider this brinting. That's pretty much brinting.
It's not scaled.
But the thing that you trade off is that you're not actually spending enough. So you've got too much margin. So something that you can learn from like Silicon Valley and like tech companies is they'll just take on as much funding as possible from VCs. They'll lose money on a customer. So this customer, they'll lose money on them for like 18 months to 2 years because they get given 20 mil by fucking Peter Thiel or Zuck or whoever's invested in them, or Naval, who you might know.
Yeah.
And they just say, I'm just going to spend all this money to get all these customers. So you now have this 9K email list and you have this customer base of 1,300 that you've paid you've done all this stuff to get these people. That's very valuable. Most people would have paid much more than 50k to get that. Obviously, that doesn't include your time, which is going to be a lot of it.
Yeah.
So it's not exactly indicative because
I mean, yeah.
in terms of like founder salaries, if that was included, it'd be much lower. But you guys probably don't give a fuck. You're probably like, I don't care. Like we were going to probably be doing that anyway.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, that's just something you have to keep in mind as you scale up and you get more people. But all in all, I'm not mad at that at all. That's a tick. That's a tick from me. But the whole point of this is, let's say you want to get this number. So I want to close, so goal, 100 a month. So 100 a month at what price?
1,000.
At 1,000? So that's what?
100k.
100k a month. So 100k a month. And this is the front end offer, isn't it?
Yeah.
And the idea is that if we get 100 people in a month, we're going to sell 3 of these at 15k, which will be a flow-on effect. And this is getting real messy, but a flow-on effect here is 45k in upsells. And that's only at 3%, which, like I said, is not optimized at all. You see people get 10 times that sometimes if it's really, really dialed and the sales team's fucking sick. So what I was talking about before is that if you want to get 100 of these people per month, you have to look at this equation and think, why can't we get 100? Well, you've only got 100 calls booked. So that's immediate, like we're fucked there. So it's like, all right, if we want to book, how many calls do we need to book? Let's say we can maintain maybe a 40% close rate off the call booked. So not including shows. This will go down and the efficiency will go down as you scale. But let's just say you have to book. So this is the result. We need, this is the objective. We have to look at the key results that we have to hit to get the objective. So this probably has to be, to get 100 a month, I would say you probably have to book at least 400, I would say.
If we book 400, we'll sell 200.
You reckon you're 50% close rate guaranteed?
I'd say we'd fucking close.
Even without founder sales though? So even with a sales team and not you?
Yeah, well, I haven't considered that, I don't know.
So what I would want to do is, I would want to account for that and say we can kind of control lead flow. We can kind of control lead flow a little bit more than we can control like a new sales team. So I would much rather flood it with leads, even if they're a bit shitter leads, just because even when you have an early sales team, like obviously you want to give them the best leads possible, but you also like
they've got to learn.
They've got to learn, exactly. So you're almost like having practice ones, which isn't really like exactly the best practices.
So I don't understand that though. Like at the end of the day, there's always more leads, right? Like
I think with you, yes.
Yeah.
If you're in like a B2B market that's very small, it's like fuck, we really got to close. But for you, like the thing with you is that there's new 18-year-olds every day that can bet, which is you don't want to say that in other industries, but this industry is probably fine. So like 400, it's going to have to be like somewhere in the range of 200 to 400 booked calls. Because this is the constraint. Because we can optimize the lead to booking rate, which is what you guys are focusing on so much time today, thinking, fuck, we need to do text flows, email flows, all this stuff's really, really important. Even if you're booked, like...
Just get more leads.
Like this process, if you're getting 400 leads and you're getting 100 booked calls, 25% lead to booking rate, I'm thinking, fuck, that's pretty good. I'm thinking that's better than most people would be.
25% is crazy, yeah.
So what you think about is that diminishing returns. It costs Usain Bolt an arm and a leg to get that extra 0.1 of a second because he's already operating at such a high level. Improving that further is going to cost you so much time and energy and optimization that's like, well, we could fucking spend X amount of time on this, learning all this stuff, or we could just say, look, if we give this a 2, 3, 4x and just say, what if we got, 400 leads a month? Not that many.
No, oh man, it's ready to be juiced.
Not that many at all.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, well, if this is fucking pretty, if I look at this and I'm thinking just based on like industry levels and industry standards, if I'm looking at this, I'm thinking, that's pretty low. And I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, fuck, that's pretty high. This is like Usain, this thing here is like Usain Bolt at like 10-second 100 meter. I'm like, fuck, that's going to take like 10 years of training to fix. This here, I'm thinking this is the equivalent of like Sam Darcy out of the AFL draft, who's like 210 centimeter athlete, high, fucking awesome skills, just needs some training. And then you just do some stuff and then it's like tick, tick, tick. So then it's like, well, so problem one is more leads. That's what I'm looking at. Problem one is more leads. Like, so what you'd call this TOF. Top of funnel. So you have your funnel, like you.
Okay, yeah.
TOF.
Just keep shoving them in.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's coherent if you watch it in order. So it's lucky that we got to film it. Close rate 45% above industry standard. That's a tick. If you can cheat that up with a sales team, 45%.
How much do you reckon that'll drop off?
Depends on the rep.
Yeah.
Like we've had guys come in and just never close shit, and we've had guys come in that, from day one they just got it and they close like 60K in their first like couple of weeks, and it's like, all right, you're fine, mate.
What do you reckon? What's the difference? Key difference between those two people?
It's really hard to know with sales reps. The way that I've always had success is like, I know like maybe 1 in 3 reps based on my ability to pick them, maybe 1 in 3
go on to be good.
are like actually good.
Yeah.
That's just made up from my experience. That's not actually like, I wouldn't say I'm the best recruiter. The difference a lot of times is like, agency is a big one, as in like, just kind of like being able to figure stuff out, not being worried, not being scared, having like a real sense of like inner conviction and inner status. Because if you look at sales, really what it is it's just like status. And it's just, you only buy from people that are higher status than you. And that's like, especially in biz op, it's like, if you get on the phone with someone, like if you guys are trying to sell to someone who's like an 18-year-old, and like, actually no, you guys, like you guys said, you sell to like a 24-year-old finance bro, they get on the call, they're all uppity, and they're like, oh, well, like I already know all this stuff, why should I pay you? You guys as the founders can say, well, fuck you, I've made X in my last Y time. you're a dickhead. Like, what do you know?
Yeah.
But then let's say you get a sales rep in, and he's 21. Maybe he's made a few $100,000 if he's lucky at that age. He's really just he's got a bit of a chip on his shoulder. He's trying to prove himself. He doesn't really have that feel of inner status. He doesn't really have that feel of like, my self-esteem is so high that he would laugh someone like that out of the room. Just like, okay, brokey, like, all right, go back to work Monday. You know what I mean? And that's not necessarily that they're a dick, but it is to say that they have to have this kind of frame about them that they're a little bit like the type of guy that you'd want doing your sales is like, it's the type of guy a little bit where like, you just know they can pull. Like you want your sales rep to like have a hot girlfriend. Like if your sales rep comes in and they're not batting above their average, then you're probably thinking, well, how good is this bloke? If he can't even close his wife, how's he going to close my clients? You know, and that's like a bit of a piss take, but it actually does.
Like
there is some sort of correlation it's not been tested, but I believe it.
I fully agree.
But yeah, if you can keep this around at least 30, because reality is, the thing that's not on this board is if they go through the free course, that's effectively like a webinar, warming people all the way up to where they finished that, have gone through it. It's like, whoa, you couldn't have a warmer lead. So the reason this is so high, 2 reasons would be, number one, because you got founder sales, but number 2, they're going through so much content beforehand. They come to that call, they already know so much shit about like what you're doing. They already know exactly how it is. They know you guys, they know your face. And then they get on and it's obviously the same person they've seen in the video. And they're like, oh, well, like basically a lay down. You see this number drop heavily because as this number goes up, the leads get colder because you expand outside of like your network. So for example, your paid ads, if you're retargeting your followers, they're going to work 100 times better than if you just go to a cold audience and they've never seen you before, they don't even know who you are. That's why you have a lead magnet to warm them up. Some people just don't go through that and they'll just go straight for the book a call, especially as you're trying to scale, because people that go through the free course will then get a call from your appointment setter and say, hey, go get on the phone, and then, hey, show up. So you're getting much more of these, you're getting many more calls booked, but the warmth and the temperature of those calls goes down.
The show rate would go down.
And the show rate goes down. So show rate, typically you'll see like 70 to 80 without optimizing it.
Yeah.
90 is pretty good. Like if you got 90, I'd be like, all right, fine. Like I'm never going to look at that ever again. Like if I'm at 90, I'm like, fine. Like I don't really care. Yeah. If you were below 70, I'd be like, so below 70 equals bad. And all you're doing the whole time, if you're in charge of marketing, you have JP's in charge of marketing, you just track all this shit meticulously. Number one. Number 2, make sure it's correct, because this is the equivalent of you just steering the ship and just sitting there and you're like, oh, well, my radar's telling me there's an iceberg over there. I need to go that way. And then if your tracking's off and there's actually an iceberg over there and you steer the ship that way, everything's fucked. So these numbers have to be very dialed in, because otherwise this is what happens to motherfuckers like me 6 months ago, 12 months ago, and probably you guys right now. You think, oh shit, we're not getting any booked calls. Like shit, we're not getting any booked calls. What do we need to do? Oh, fire that bloke, that shit. Fucking we need to do this new YouTube thing, we need to do this new thing. And it just doesn't work because you're literally operating from like gut feel.
Yeah, but that's every decision we make is fucking.
Yeah, well here's the kicker. It feels shit the whole time. Like you feel like shit the whole time. You're always in that like, oh, we need more calls. It always feels bad. So if you're operating from that gut feel, like you're always stressed.
Yeah.
Like when you're not stressed, when you're trying to scale quickly and you've got all these customers and you've got Slack open, you've got this, you've got no focus anyway, you're stressed anyway. So when you're making decisions without any compass, this is like, if you don't have all this, it's like you're fucking flying through space and you're looking at it like a broken compass, literally trying to navigate to fucking Mars, and you're like, well, what's going on? I feel pretty bad. Like, let's go left. Like, all right. Like you have no idea what you're doing. But this is like your directory. Because if I came in on a Monday and you just said, well, I've got this, these are exact numbers from the last 6 months averaged out, and they're pretty stable. It's like, it's pretty easy. It's like, well, You guys only have like how many followers on Instagram? The real ones?
5.
You're like 5,000? That's crazy. Because if I'm thinking 5,000 followers and you're getting that many leads, you're getting that many calls booked, you're getting that many to show up and you're closing that many and you're making, where's the money? And you're making that much, I'm thinking, fuck. That number relies on this thing. What happens if you did that? What happens if you 10x'd your followers? Because your content got that much better and you actually dialed that in. Then what happens if your appointment setting from your followers to lead got a lot better because you were running many more ads and you had people going outbound to your followers? And then what happens if that process got a lot better because everyone that gets in the free course gets a phone call and the email flows and the text flows are actually optimized and you've got your CRM and things are dialed in there. Then when you get your calls booked, you have a pre-call flow and you have an appointment set of calling all the people before the call. So not only are they getting warmer and making sure they show. So this is that. So they show. So this number maintains. So you're getting more of this. This number maintains. This is fine because fucking Tom can just sit on calls all day because he doesn't care because he's making money. That's fine. He can learn how to run a sales team later. But realistically, you can take 100 calls a month on your own.
Yeah, I mean, that's basically what we're doing.
Yeah, you can take 100 calls a month on your own. And if JP or you need to chop and change, that's fine.
Yeah.
But here's what you do need to do while you're doing all this stuff. These have to be recorded, and you have to spend a lot of time on getting the training ready. And if you guys have all this money, I'd be thinking, far out, I have no idea how to do a sales team. Hey, person I know in the space, do you know anyone that's good at sales team? Hey, do you know anyone in the space that's good at sales team? We've tried to hire 5 people in a row and they all suck. Oh yeah, well I heard this guy's pretty good, he worked with this guy and this guy. All right, send the fucking payment link. Pay, done, get in Slack. How do you do it? Immediately. And it's like, well that's probably gonna cost you 10K maybe, max. Maybe 20K, 30K max. Yeah. Best person in the industry probably costs 16K US, but you probably don't even want to work with him because he's too big. You won't get that much attention. So that just solved your number one bottleneck at that point, which is calls on the calendar. You have no sales team, so that's solved. And then you're left with this number, which is fucked because you have none of this. But then you just implement this.
We do have a stack of that. It's just all manually. We just talk to them all, and that's how we know.
Yeah, you just optimize that.
Yeah,
like you put them on.
That could be way better, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah, put them through an automated onboarding sequence.
Yeah.
And what you can have, this is what we have. We just have a Gamma document, which is like a slideshow basically, which is like step 1, watch this video, step 2, watch this video, step 3, step 4, step 5, email flow that goes out. You can also have like a segment in your email sending platform. So when this goes through, payment goes through to the processor, they go, this is completely fucked now, but let's say they go to this email flow for customers only. So your email flow for 1K customers, what does that do? Fucking, hey, just saw you joined. Here's all your resources. Join the Discord, join this stuff. Message me this when you get in, like what you'd already done. Make sure you go through this, and this. And then in your actual course content, like in the 1K course, you promote the beliefs and the activation points necessary for this. So, for example, let's say in this, it was predicated upon doing a certain strategy that was somewhat superior to this. You would almost want to drop like certain, you almost want to drop like certain teasers and certain things saying, this is just the start. This is like where you can go, yada, yada, yada. And you can show proof. And the exact same way you do in your free course where you're selling pretty hard on the next thing, everything is just the next thing. And even when they get here, it's like, well, you just bought a 15K product. That might be for a year. It's like, well, the final thing is like whatever you want to do because you really want those customers to stay forever. Because like I said, getting these new customers, as we have discussed, is a fucking pain in the ass. So if you're good at it, get someone to tell you how to do this. get someone how to fucking max out this LTV. Because this is pretty low hanging fruit as well. So I'd say 2, upsell process, because it's easy. So the upsell process is pretty easy. As in this arrow. So like if you wanted to break it down, I'm tempted to just rub this off because it's not really. If you wanted to break it down, like what's more leads? Because you can pretty safely say it's more leads. Oh, this is fucked. Beautiful. So let's focus on number 1. More leads slash TOF. So how can you get leads? 1, content. 2, paid ads. I'm going to run out of space on the left side, so I'm going to have to rub this off. Unfortunately, the goal's getting bunched. So you have paid ads, outreach, and then sneaky number 4 that you probably wouldn't have done. I hope that you haven't done it now that I've said it, is partnerships. Some people call this affiliates. So if you've read it, 1,000x fucking $100 million offers, Mosey calls this affiliate. In B2B, we call this partnerships because it's easier. For you guys, it'll probably be a mix of both because I know you were going to do that thing where you're going to get people to make UGC for you and do affiliate.
UGC?
User-generated content. Like get customers and stuff to post videos and promote your stuff. That's actually not bad. I really don't hate that at all. Because you got that guy who does content, Pete, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Like
Yeah,
you could probably...
he sold us fucking, he's made us heaps.
Yeah. Fucking oath. And then partnerships, the way I would look at this is more... The way I look at this is who has my audience. So what's my audience? It's probably like males 18 to 30. Who's captivated them in Australia? And you've done a little bit... So I would consider getting someone who's like a fitness influencer in Australia, that's a media partnership. So that is a partnership. And even if you were trading posts and stuff like that and promoting each other's stuff, even if you gave them an affiliate link or whatever, I would consider that a partnership. But with you guys, it's YouTube, it's IG, Potty, which is kind of all of them. And you kind of like, this is kind of like short form content. What else do you do for content?
Vlogs, YouTube vlogs. We've got TikTok.
Short form content.
Content.
Twitter.
Yeah, marginally. I guess there's a little bit going through there.
Twitter's not that important.
Yeah.
For you guys, not that important, especially now. Like the traffic on Twitter used to come a lot easier than it does now. It's a lot harder. You still do it, but it's harder.
Yeah, we just get rinsed on Twitter.
Yeah. Pretty much. Paid ads, how's this going?
It's pretty new, but it's going well so far.
So it's what, Meta?
When he says well, we have different definitions of well.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's your cost per lead?
Cost per lead's like, well...
It's probably not that bad.
Well, cost per free course sign-up's $5, yeah.
That's $5 leads, completely fine.
Yeah, we'd be 5 times our spend on paid ads at the moment.
spend more.
Oh yeah, I'll
Like
just
$5 per booked call. No, you told me it was $5 per sign up, right? To like the free course.
No,
Per
yeah,
free course,
per,
yeah.
per free course. That's $5 a lead.
Yeah.
So it's a $5 CPL.
Okay.
So the way you work out if this is working, which is a tangent, but we can go into it. So the way you figure out if this is working is, so $5 a lead, it's cost me $5 a lead. This lead is going to free course. Do you have a thank you page by any chance after they opt in?
nah. This needs to be heavily optimized.
So free course opt in. What you do after that is you have a TY page promoting. This is like, you'll think this is cheeky, but this is what everyone does. So TY page promoting sales call.
Yeah.
So hey, you just got our free course, next page, as soon as they opt in, hey, that's on the way, bang. If you want us to walk you through this personally, get on this call. Or if you want to hear about how we can help you do this, get on this call. That's where all that stuff with the setter comes in, where you're sending them content before the call, you're sending them stuff, you've got automations going out, and you have that flow for people that have booked a call, and you also have your setter ideally call them the day before. Number one, make sure they're going to show up. Number two, make sure they know exactly like who you are, what you do, etc. Check on their progress with the free course, yada, yada, yada. Then you conduct call. Like, did they show, etc. Like, this is the exact same thing because now you're into that process. And then it's far out, I bottled that. And then close. So if this costs you $5, how many of those turn into calls? You have any idea at all?
Probably half our leads at the moment, so probably 50 calls.
I would use a separate calendar
Yeah.
to track, because there's ways to track it. There's a software called Hyros you can use in the future. Right now, just use a separate calendar if they come from ads, so you know, all right, I've spent
So this is
X, you know, and I know I've just spent, you know, if I've got 50 calls from whatever your total spend is,
Yeah.
you know, like let's say you've got 50 calls for, you know, 5K in spend for 50 calls. Your CPBC, cost per booked call, is going to be like, fucking, I don't even know, Brian, like $100 a call? Yeah. $100 a call. So it's like, all right, I'm getting a booked call for $100. My close rate, if it's the same on ads as it is on Thingo, on Warm, it's 45%. So that means I'm closing, let's say, 1 out of 2 calls close. So that means, what am I paying for CAC? I'm paying $200 CAC.
Yeah.
So I'm paying 200 CAC. And that's not with a sales team. So a sales team is going to increase this CAC number because you can't cope with the founder sales.
Yeah.
Because the other reason is because this is going to go down, it's also going to cost you money. So this is why a sales team, you really have to optimize, because it costs you money in that they're going to close worse. It's going to cost you money in that you have to pay someone else. It's not you.
Sure, yeah.
But your CAC is $200. And your LTV, as we know, is $1,500 from before.
Sure.
So what's that? 7. So your CAC to LTV is 7, tick. Spend more. Done.
I mean,
That will go down and it will break and you have to fix it.
as long as your LTV is higher than your CAC, it's a tick, right? Or no, you want ratios there as well?
3 to 1.
3 to 1.
So you want your LTV to be 3 times the CAC. But that's like a minimum. For you.
So I don't get that. Why?
Because
Because like, is it 2 to 1? You're like, well, I'm spending 200, I'm making 400.
LTV,
right?
number one, is not LTGP, lifetime gross profit.
Yeah, it's
So you
lower
have-
than gross profit, right?
Pardon?
Oh, gross profit.
higher.
So it's not. So this isn't all profit. So you have costs to fulfill that.
Sure, okay.
Like for example, if Lenny is flying out
Yeah,
to
of
see
course.
30 or however many he had to fly out for, that's a good amount of costs in you pay Lenny whatever and flights and a comm. So it's not all profit. So that
I mean,
gives
his
you a bit of
fucking
cover.
office is...
Exactly. You got good fixed costs as well.
Yeah.
So you have costs. So
Yeah.
the 3 to 1 is generally just to ensure that you have enough money to, number one, fulfill, and then number two, just take a profit at the end. Because if you're spending like 30% on marketing and sales costs, you got 70% margin. Let's just like completely like base numbers. It's like 70% before you're fulfilled. It's like, all right, we're fucking probably gonna have to spend 20-30% to fulfill. All of a sudden your margin's quite low. But yeah, that's how you'd look at your paid ads funnel. So this is actually quite good. You want to spend more until it breaks. So either one of these numbers is going to drop, then you have to run the exact same exercise as I did before. Where are my leads? Where are my calls booked? Are they showing? Is my close rate fucked? Is this fucked? What is it? What's the problem? And then just fix it. The ways you fix it, like I said, sometimes you have to pay someone, sometimes you have to hire someone, sometimes you have to train a founder, sometimes you have to train an employee. There's a million different ways that you can do it. The number one thing that is important when you do that is, number one, is it the actual problem? Which is what everyone stuffs up because they're freaking out. They're like, we need to do that, we need to do that. It's like, no, the thing that the numbers gives you is like fucking Google Maps compared to like a compass in space. The Google map is like, turn left. It's like, oh, okay. Oh shit, okay. You just go left and it's like, oh, well, that's actually a little bit better. Yeah. And then number two, obviously, is
how?
Exactly. Like fucking, I hate it when people try and scrub that out. It just gives me like, ugh, freaks me out. God. How? And you'd look at how other people have done it before. You'd look at, has this person solved it for other people? Have they sold it for someone like me? Have they just solved that problem for themselves? There's different levels and you have to pay different amounts at different levels. But that's typically pretty fine. You guys have money, so it's a lot easier. Like if you've got 50K of marketing expenses in your whole life and you've been stacking juicy profit margins for a while, the benefit is that you've got a juicy amount of money to go ahead and say, oh geez, like this one problem we're facing, this is bloody brutal. Like I have no idea how to fix this. And you can just say, fuck, we might need to hire someone who's just got like 25 years in experience scaling coaching programs, scaling consulting programs. Fuck, he's asking for 20K. Do I think we can make an ROI? I reckon we can, boys. Let's fucking do it. And you do it and then maybe you'll get, sometimes you lose, but sometimes, as you guys know, like you probably spent money before and been completely screwed. Probably spent money before and, just one thing might have got you a 50x ROI. Yeah. So that's just the game. And making good decisions here with step one and then step two as well, really important. Yeah. And like I said, that might be an employee, that might be someone you poach, that might be someone you hire a recruiter to get, that might be someone you ask your network for how to solve it, that might be a million things. Anyway, back to the thing. So paid ads, Meta. You guys could do YouTube as well. The thing about YouTube, harder to get banned.
Harder?
So Google actually don't ban you as much as Facebook from what I've heard. I don't know.
Even in the gambling industry?
I'm not sure about the gambling industry, which was what I was just about to say. Yeah. But I know typically Google will be a bit more forgiving than Meta. Meta can be rude.
TikTok? No,
TikTok's tough.
No, they'll ban the fuck out of us,
yeah. TikTok's really tough.
So anyway, you can speak to a sales rep at TikTok. I try to reach out to every single TikTok person on LinkedIn.
So, yeah, I was going to say,
so
that's LinkedIn.
Give a fuck about who we were. And I don't blame them.
Exactly, so it is what it is. Yeah. Outreach, not as much for you guys because cold equals, fun fact for you, cold outreach is illegal for B2C.
Well,
so don't do that.
Even on Instagram.
Warm. That's warm.
That's warm, is it?
So I wouldn't go on email. I wouldn't go and DM strangers.
Of course.
If like the legalities around it is around cold email. So I'm talking about cold email when I say it's illegal. So like Instagram's probably not nearly as regulated as something like cold email, but like what are your conversion rates going to be on a cold DM for a coaching program? Like completely freezing, they don't even know who you are. It's like, I probably just can't be bothered doing that because this isn't, and all the other stuff's going to give me a 50x better ROI. What you can do is DM followers.
Yeah.
Not DM.
Which we've just tested for the last sort of month.
How's it going?
Well, sales went up.
So there's no
anything
track.
In between there.
Money go up.
Money go up.
So you just said this.
I would have called DM probably 300 people, I reckon.
We're printing.
I'd say 5% of people responded, 10% of people responded.
You
I'd
gotta-
say 5% of those, or 50% of those.
So who's doing the outbound?
I did it all to begin with. We've cut it now.
Right. So
Just
number
because
one.
we
oh,
need
fuck.
to. Yeah,
No-
just.
Number one, don't do it yourself.
Well, it's just a testing thing. It's like.
Yeah, it's just testing. But
Yeah.
even if you are going to test it, it's like I said, you have to have a really good idea of what's reply rate, what's my cost per book calls, how many calls are booking, what are they showing, how are the leads, are these leads much colder than the other ones that they're closing way worse?
So I've got a question for that. Everything there, you want to be aware of all this shit. Not shit, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
That takes a lot of planning. That takes a lot of preparation. That takes a lot of who's going to do it, who's going to collect the data. Are we going to hire someone to do it? Are we going to do it ourselves? That's a fucking us. Or do it for a couple of weeks, you get a general gist, or is it just like you're like, no, that gist means fuck all? Because it's like if you get a gist, yeah, all right, let's allocate resources. Sort of like dip the toes in rather than going, let's fucking dive in head first.
I think you kind of got overwhelmed because there was a lot of stuff on screen. But if you looked down here, close rate tick, show rate tick, that's fine. Don't even fucking look at them.
Yeah.
Lead to booking rate tick, that's completely fine. It was all more leads.
Yeah.
So you looked at all that stuff, you're like, shit, I'm scared because you don't have the numbers and you also don't have the industry lay of the land to know that, oh fuck, we're actually pretty good at that.
Yeah.
Which is like, surprise, surprise, you've made a lot of money. Like, why would you not be good at like core functions of the business? It's just that there's a couple of things that if you optimize them, which is more leads and the upsell process, because what we see that was like 3%. So the two things, the takeaways, so CAC to LTV was a tick. So CAC to LTV was good. Close rate was a tick. Show rate, I'll put a percentage there. Show rate was a tick. Lead to booking was a tick. So that means our sales were good. Our calendar functions were good with the show rate. Our lead to booking was good. So that means whatever we were doing in the DMs, whatever we were doing on the email list, whatever we were doing on the text flows, that's all fine. That's all fine.
One thing that is inflating those numbers though, is the fact that we're only texting the people that have completed the course. We're not texting everyone. So we got 400 leads, but we're texting people in our database from who signed up 2 months ago and have revisited it. So our numbers are definitely inflated. Because
on the lead to booking side, yeah, that's fine though, because that like your lead to booking was like, I looked at it, I was like, that's a little bit too high.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm not even
because sure.
I'm not even looking at that and thinking like, oh, we need this, like needs to be studied. This is like the best thing ever. It's more like, okay, like that's fine, and we'll just that's just on the list. It's just another thing that you can look at. Because like I said, as you go into colder audiences, which will be people that, you know, I know people that reach out to people that like posts and try and sell them. Like, even as soon as someone opts into the free course, most people will just call them straight away. So that's a pretty cold lead compared to someone that's completed it. And what that's about is that's kind of expanding your spider web to where, even if, you know, if this is...
More people falling through the gaps.
Yeah, exactly. If this is people that, like say this is a spider web, if this is people flying through, like, and this means they completed the free course, we just want to be able to get them and say, right, we just got this motherfucker. Now, what we have to get really good at is closing leads that are slightly colder than before. So it's a little bit harder, but again, all it does is give you a new problem. So you get more leads, you're like, fuck yeah, we got more leads. Then, like I said, like this close rate number will drop off. It's like, all right, we need to get better sales. We need to train our sales team. That's fine, because really all you want to know is like, where's the thing to get? Like, where's the thing? Because like, who's the bloke that was like, you know, if it bleeds, you can kill it?
Fuck, it's tickling.
Kennedy something? Or was it the Brizzy guy? I don't even know.
Yeah.
Someone said if it bleeds, you can kill it. So if you know what your problem is,
and
you say, well, all right now, the main thing we need to get is more top of funnel and try and not fuck anything else up. So we're trying to get top of funnel while keeping the other KPIs the same. It's like, all right, we just do that. And then inevitably, when you do that, something else will pop up and you're kind of just playing whack-a-mole in a way. But instead of playing whack-a-mole from a position of in the bowl with all the things going everywhere, you're playing whack-a-mole from up here and just going bang, 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 bang. It's much different. It's much, much different. So yeah, what you're doing here is like your YouTube has a 10x available easily. You're not really even trying. Your vlogs are good. Your content is good. It's more in the positioning. So what's positioning? So title,
Sure.
thumbnail, first 3 minutes. Just focus on that for now, because that's enough of a task.
Yeah.
Short form content. Like how's it going? Like you guys getting followers or?
Yeah, like the followers are growing. They started posting twice a day, but like there's a lot of content that's like goes unedited, as in like no captions. Some of them have no hook. Yeah.
Yeah, well that was a trade-off with posting more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's
Is that shit?
Yeah.
yeah, it's shit.
Yeah.
Like,
So it's got a 10x.
Yeah, you can 10x it for sure.
Poddy, I would say, is going to be the same thing because it's basically YouTube. Twitter is kind of like, can't really be fucked. Paid ads we went through before. If you want to start YouTube, only do that when it's necessary. So don't just start a new channel just for shits and gigs. Outreach, we've crossed out. Partnerships, you can do a lot of media partnerships. So I'd be thinking for this, who has our audience, and that's when you do your outreach. Oh fuck, I really bottled that, didn't I? That's terrible. So you think who has our audience, and that's when you do your outreach. So that's podcasts, that's affiliate deals and stuff like that. Because I remember when you pitched me on trying to do an affiliate deal, and I was like, wow, if I wasn't busy doing my other stuff and promoting my own shit, I probably would have taken it. So you're going to get some people on that. Because there are people that do that sort of thing and they do quite well for themselves with that. And the benefit that you have with your partners is that you actually have a bit of a mission. So you're not just selling a biz op, you're selling a set of values, the long-term stuff, the being like a certain type of way, you've got your values, your long-term stuff about
So they can, yeah.
preventing betting, not preventing betting, or sort of minimizing betting and fucking over the betting industry, all that. So that'll get you more partnerships. So types of partnerships, media will be your biggest one. And then 2 is referral. And it's kind of like, like for you guys, I'd probably put affiliate in the same boat. They're not really always the same. Sometimes like it kind of can be different. Right. But they'll be your main 2. So referral will be like, you know what, it's probably going to be more affiliate. It'll be more people that you know have your audience that don't have much stuff to promote, that you can say, send us deals, we'll give you 25%. Or we'll give you whatever our CAC was, whatever our normal CAC is. If you get someone to join, we'll give you our CAC. Because we know we're going to have to pay to acquire a customer anyway. Yeah. I would rather give it to an affiliate because the people that come from a referral or come from an affiliate, they stay longer and they pay more and they're usually better customers. Because they've come from a warm lead versus content, they've got a bit more trust, so they're willing to spend more for longer. And then media is the same thing. You're going to be doing outreach for media partners, which is like anyone interesting. So really with the media partnerships, you're thinking values and attention. So who fits our values? That's going to get us attention. Someone like Brian would be good. You guys said, oh, what's that going to do for us? Well, he's a fucking 21-year-old that makes, a bunch of money. Like that's pretty interesting for any young Aussie guy to be like, holy shit, this guy, what's he doing?
Works for
That's
him.
weird. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Because it's also, with the media partnerships, it's changing beliefs as well. So you want people that will help change your customers' beliefs on your behalf. So you guys will often be saying, you can make money, do long-term stuff, do this. You'll be playing the same message.
Of course we're going to say that.
Exactly. So when you can get someone else completely independently, they're not a paid actor, they're a human person, and they start saying your beliefs without having really any affiliation. So it's not even a customer that's been like indoctrinated by you. This is someone like Brian, who's just a random person from Singapore, who's just pulled up and been like, yeah, like making 30K a month US at 21 was like the easiest thing ever. Like I literally have a piss. I was in Amsterdam last week. Like he's going to say that, and then the kids, our audience is going to be like, what the fuck? What is this? Like this bloke looks like a dickhead. Like how is he doing it? No disrespect. So that's what your media partnerships do. And all this stuff ideally gets you more leads. But if I get rid of all this again, whenever you have a constraint or some type of thing, this is something I learned from the Big Daddy Hormozy. One of many, many things that I've learned from the Big Dog.
Shit. How was that, Dave?
It was pretty grouse, honestly.
Yeah. Didn't you fly in for the day and then fly home?
Yeah. Well, I did watch the UFC as well. I saw Volk get KO'd, which was...
You went to it?
Yeah, I met him. I saw him at the airport afterwards. It was brutal.
Dude, what?
Yeah, I saw him having dinner with his team, and they were all like sitting around having steaks and stuff. I was like, oh, jeez, mate, poor bloke. It was literally the best and worst thing.
What?
Seeing Volk after the fight.
Yeah.
Because I was like, oh my God, I was sitting there on my phone, I'm like waiting for my flight. I'm like, as you know, just gone through customs, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
I was just like, all right, I had my headphones in, I'm like dead to the world. I'm like pretty zoinked after a big week. And then I just looked over, I was like, what the I was like, that looks like Volk's head coach. Because I'm pretty into it. Like, I was like, is that Joe Lopez? And I was like, oh shit, that's Volk. Like, oh my God. So I sat there for like 30 minutes. I'm like, oh God, I've got to go say hi, don't I? And eventually just went and said hi.
You did it?
I went and said hi because I was like, oh, I don't want to interrupt him at dinner. He's probably flat ass.
His head kicked in.
Literally, like,
Nah,
I was like,
you
it had to be.
that. Like,
I know, I was like,
one chance.
I was literally like, imagine I went home and I had to sit on that flight for 30 hours and having not talked to Volk. So that was brutal.
Flight.
It's a long flight to not have talked to Volk. So I thought he's a good bloke. He's a good sport about it, honestly. Like he
seems like a good dude.
Yeah, he is a good bloke.
He's got good social media game as well.
Yeah, he's good. But yeah, what was I saying? Yeah, so the Hormozy thing.
Yeah.
How do you fix something? One is more. I was tempted to put 2 O's there for more, but no. So more, better, new. The reason I love this so much is because it's so simple and everything else is so hard. And another thing that he said that I thought was super interesting was that everything's fucking complex and hard. If your strategy is complex and hard, what do you think's going to happen? You're fucked, because everything's inherently complex because you're trying to run a business, trying to scale, etc. So it's like, if you're doing something, you just have to be like, this is how you get more people to look at your stuff. You do more stuff, you do better stuff, you do new stuff. You do it in this order as well. And the thing I love about this is because it confirms everything that I was thinking, and it gives me a framework to look at it through, which is perfect. So I was at the event, I was like, fuck, this is pretty good shit. I was thinking in this direction, but this absolutely just articulates it perfectly. So I'm happy to just use his explanation. So more is like more outreach or more content. I would say more platforms. I would still, even though it's kind of new, I would say it's still more platforms because it's probably going to be very similar style. That kind of is a little bit abrasive towards not being new, but more platforms as in...
What do you mean by more platforms? Yeah.
As in, like, if you're posting Instagram, YouTube, Shorts, TikTok, like you're doing all platforms.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
What else can you do more of? More customer success interviews. You do more potties. Like, you can imagine that there's a common theme here. It's like, if what we're doing is working, we don't have to change anything just because it needs to be changed, or just we don't have to change anything because it's been away. This might even be more sales reps, or even more people. If this shit doesn't work and you can't do any more, like let's say for example you're posting 4 or 5 times a week on YouTube, that's your maximum, probably will be your maximum, that's like a lot. You post once or twice a day in short form, you're doing all the potties, a couple of everything a week, and you're like, well, It's not actually getting us any more. The more we do is not leading to more results because we've hit diminishing returns. That's when you go to better. So that's when you'd be like, all right, how can we improve content? Can we train the team? Can we train the sales team? Can we get better guests on the pod? You might be thinking get better results. Whatever. If that doesn't work and you can't do better for the absolute life of you, that's when you go to new as a last resort and think, this is basically like, fuck something. Like you're just like, all right, like new offer, like, you know, new product line, whatever, we got to change something, do something new. That has to be based on data though. Like that's, if you don't have your numbers.
How can you get data on new shit?
No, as in previous shit. Like, for example, if your churn rate or your customer activation rate just went to 0 one day and everyone in your community was 0, you'd be like, all right, well, fuck. Like, what do you do? And how do you get data on new shit is talk to customers. AKA...
Where'd they find us sort of shit?
Ask.
What worked? Like
what do you want?
What do you want?
What do you want? What outcome do you want? Like, you just literally say that.
No shit.
Because like, what's an offer?
Yeah.
You get X. I get Y. What do you want? What's X? Like, so you're solving for X. When you have to do something new for an offer, it's like, I've got to make a new offer. You get X. So X might be an outcome. So it might be an outcome, but it also might be the mechanism, as in how it's getting delivered. It might be the actual delivery. So it might be like one-to-one. It might be one-to-many. It might be do it yourself. Like there's, sure. Like this is where you get into like, you have to figure out like how much support do they need, what's their budget, like really dial in on the customer again and start from there. But is that clear? Does that make sense? Or are you just kind of like, what the fuck?
100%. It's fucking awesome.
Good.
100%. More, better, new.
Yeah, start with that. Yeah, like the first port of call is, like I said, you have a 10x with your YouTube, you have a 10x with your short form. And the other thing that, like, actually I fucking completely forgot, the real, like, initial bottleneck was that your guys' time is completely fucked.
Yeah, still is.
So how are you going to 10x your content if you have no time? Because you can't outsource your content, can you?
A lot of it is. Well, I mean, we've got Tricky in. We've got 2 guys working for us overseas. But like,
yeah, you can
the creation of content, no.
Yes, you can outsource that stuff.
But the creation of content doesn't take long.
Yeah, but really, like, I think the way that you guys need to look at it is we got to make, like, it's not necessarily that you need to do more. So if you look at your content and you're thinking, do I need to do more? Do I need better? Or do I need new? Which one would you suggest that it is if you're already posting 2 short forms and a couple of long forms a week?
I still think it's more.
Really?
Yeah. Well, fuck,
based on what though?
Better, maybe better after speaking it.
It's definitely not more.
Because what did we have here? It was positioning. So this is something that you don't necessarily have the skill for in this company at this stage, which isn't a problem because it's like pretty niche.
To get better content, you're saying?
What's better content and also better positioning of the content.
Because of the lack of skills, yeah, I guess.
Because of the skills. Yeah, everything's really like a skill set or a stack of traits or whatever.
Yeah.
So I would argue that it's better with content.
Yeah.
And that's obviously an internal conversation that you'd want to have.
Yeah, fucking
But that's what I'd be thinking. I'd be thinking we've got to have better content. Yeah. Another thing.
Look at this. This has been up here for fucking 12 months.
Better content. Yeah, show them what you do. So action.
But that's obviously a different type of better. There's also the Brian skills of better as well.
Yeah, well, like what you've got there is like vision.
Yeah.
This is like the brand. This is the stuff we stand for. This is what we want to show.
Yeah.
You also need to match the vision with boots on the ground and fucking executors and people that are going to do shit.
Yeah.
So action items is time audits.
Yeah.
So time audits for founders. It's put dollar per hour number on time spend. So I hope that makes sense.
Yeah.
What I mean is like if you're doing admin or you're texting people, you're like, all right, well, we probably could pay someone fucking $25 an hour to do that. Find low-hanging fruits with the hires.
Oh, with hires.
So what I mean by that is most hours lost, cheapest price.
Sure.
I bet you'd find that if you put a lovely assistant or a secretary in the office that was going to cost you 50, 60 grand a year, that could do all your admin and organize everything, and someone that was like very neurotically organized to counteract the lack of organization that you kind of have, potentially, to counteract that, because that's not only the most hours lost, it's actually a pretty cheap position as well, and it also is an absolute high impact.
Yeah.
Based on current fit. So that's an action item there. 4 is better content. It's not an F, that's T. 4 TOF, because if you look at the funnel and it's TOF, middle of funnel and bottom of funnel, shit. Like you guys said, you guys are really good at sales and you're really good at nurture. So that means, like I said, so your emails are good, your DMs are good, the way you talk to customers is good, your sales calls are good, your show rates are good, your free course is probably pretty good, so you don't even need to look at that for a while, because like I said, this stuff and this stuff, maybe it can be improved, but it's not the thing stopping you from growing right now, like right now. So you're probably right now focusing on problems that are future problems, maybe 6 months down the track, that will only appear if you solve this one. But if you solve that one, if you don't solve that one, these problems that you're currently focusing on never even come into fruition. It's the exact same way as like a 16-year-old virgin trying to figure out how to put a condom on when he's never even talked to a girl, he's never even asked to go on a date. It's like, brother, we got a little bit of fucking steps to do. We've got to
Cross that bridge.
we've got to ask a girl on a date. We've got to learn how to talk to a girl. We need to learn how to, put the riz on. We've got to learn how to do all these things. And then, if you're a lucky boy, maybe you'll get some bottom of funnel action that night. Maybe. Probably not, though. Probably not.
You've managed to relate it back to pulling chicks twice now.
Yeah. People lean into their strengths, So better content for TOF. What else was the other stuff for more leads? There was something here. So paid ads. So paid ads. This, I would say, is a skill set thing.
Yeah.
Because if you don't really know your KPIs, and when I say skill set, so KPIs, KPIs, this is tracking, creative, testing. So this is like fundamentals. Not necessarily fundamentals, this is probably a little bit higher level than fundamentals. Like fundamentals is like setting up the ad account, pixel, all that stuff.
Yeah.
But like KPIs, tracking, creative, testing, this is the stuff that'll make you money.
Yeah.
And number 6, what else was there? Upsell process. That's kind of a bit out of mind at the moment for me, because like you're probably just going to keep plucking them from the thing.
Action items
you could probably keep it at that and be pretty happy.
Fuck, I need to rewatch this whole thing. There's been a lot of info.
So, when you have action items, this is what you do. You guys are lucky because you have a team. AORs. Have you ever heard of this?
No.
Areas of responsibility. Paid ads. You have content. With the time stuff, you have ops.
Yeah.
Another area
Sales.
is probably going to be sales.
Sales, yeah.
So I'd imagine that's Tom who's handling that.
Yeah.
Paid ads is Steve. Content, I would think, is JP.
Yeah.
So content's going to be JP. Ops is going to be you probably.
Me.
So the time audit stuff will be spearheaded by you, and then Tom is going to hold down the fort with all the other shit and try and keep it rolling.
Yeah.
So you think, fuck, that was a lot.
Break it down.
Cut out half the shit that I just said for you, and just say, I'm not listening to that. JP has to cut all that stuff out and say, I'm not listening to that. And Tom can probably just grab a beer or something because he just needs to keep what he's doing.
Yeah, yeah. Legit.
Tom's
cruising.
He's got the best job though. He's got the best job because, you know, it is what it is. But Tom needs to start learning how to train people. So he's got to learn his skill set as well. So
Yeah.
6 is probably...
Sales is what, yeah. It was the only thing that was saying in my mind then.
Yeah, so 6 is probably sales,
Training,
sales,
growth, fucking.
you know, sales team.
Yeah, okay.
Sales team skill set.
Yeah.
So what's sales team skill set? That's SOPs, standard operating procedures. So that's scripts,
Yeah.
templates, onboarding, protocol,
Is that hiring included?
and hiring.
And hiring, yeah. Okay.
Hiring or recruiting. First time, hire 2 or 3
Okay.
and just let them just fucking see. And just see. And you can train them all at once, get them to ask all the questions, record all the calls, turn that into more training.
Yeah.
So you can imagine if you're onboarding dozens and dozens of reps over time, it's like
It's just another fun.
less and less unbearable. And again, yeah, it is another funnel where you just have, all right, they fucking sign up. These are the expectations. This is what's going to happen. If this doesn't happen, this happens. If this happens, then this happens. Good stuff. And you have incentive structures, and that's all the shit that you can optimize. But like, honestly, with all that, like, what do you pay them? This. That stuff you can work off industry standards. That stuff you can learn from YouTube consultants. We can go into that after this as well. If you want, but I would say if I was going to give my holistic analysis, that would actually be a pretty good starting point.
But that's a very, very fucking...
I hope that thing was on as well because the boys are probably going to want to see that.
Yeah.
Thank fuck it was. I actually had a split second, I couldn't see the recording button there.
Nah,
I was
it's
like,
there,
"You
it's
there."
fucking kidding me. No, that's elite. That's fully elite.
Yeah, too easy.
You've broken my brain again. Yeah, clap it off. God, that was elite. Cheers, man. That's fucking
How do we
so
cut
good.
this thing?
That's that.